everyone's having a wonderful day. Today, y'all, I want to show you something that I've had questions about, and it's my bridles and the bits. They want to see what kind of bits I use on my mules, and I talked about wrapping my bits with wire. The other day when we made that video with Mr. Bob, I told y'all my mules had a little too much gas pedal. They were getting in too big a hurry, and the reason is because I had got these new bits in these bridles, and I hadn't wrapped them with wire yet. So I didn't think about it whenever I was wrapping them to include y'all in that part, or I would have showed you. And I didn't want to take the wire back off just to show y'all how to do it. But I am going to show you my bridle and how my bits look. So here's my bit. And the main thing, y'all, when you're doing this, let me look at it and see. Let's see, I'm gonna get y'all in focus here. The main thing is these tag ends right here. You don't want these tag ends to be, back here where it's gonna contact their lips. Their mouth is gonna be right here, and you don't want this end back here on this side of this ring to where it can, damage their lip. But the way you do it is you wrap it on the bottom side of your bit. Let me back up a little. Start on the bottom side of your bit, wrap around that ring, and then come around the back side and start making spiral wraps. And sorry, she got slobber on the bridle. I had to take it back off to show you. Spiral wrap the wire around the bit. Now, one thing I got to caution you about: when you're wrapping these bridles with wire, or these bits with wire, you need a straight bit. It don't need to be curved or none of that. If it is curved, you need to hammer it out flat. Because if you don't, it's going to pinch their jaws over here in the corners. It's going to put more pressure out here on the corners. You don't want that. Make it straight. That's one thing you need to know about. And then the next thing you need to know about is don't use thin wire. You want to use like a 12 gauge wire, a big heavy gauge fence wire. Not that small stuff, because if you put that small stuff on here, y'all, it's going to cut their mouth too much. And you don't want that. Use this bigger wire and it won't cut their mouth all up. It'll put pressure on them, but not too much pressure. It won't be cutting them up so bad. But you go ahead and wrap their bit, spiral wrap it around and keep the wraps tight. As you come around, just work your way all the way to the end. And then when you get to the end, come around on the bottom and terminate it on the bottom right there. Just like I got it. And in that way, it'll be facing forward, away from their lips. Because you don't want it facing back, it'll cut their lips up. That's not a good thing. You can take a flat file and hit it right there and knock the sharp point off of it, knock the barb off of it. That's a good idea too. Okay, now about these bits, when you start working a mule, like when I break my colts, this will be the kind of bit that I start them in, and that's the bit they'll wear from now on. Yeah, when in the beginning, when they are pushing it hard, their mouth will tend to get a little bloody. It'll cut them a little bit. It can get their mouth sore. Yes, that is true. But they're doing it to themselves. You're not doing it, they're doing it. All you got to do is sit there and hold the lines. And the harder they push on it, obviously it's going to inflict, more pain. Part of the pain is part of the cure. It's just like I told y'all about the stud chain with June, with me using that stud chain. It's nothing I'm doing. The rougher she is, the rougher it is. Same thing with this bit. It's got nothing to do with me trying to, break their spirits or none of that crap. All it is a tool. It's a tool to get them to mind what I say and pay attention to me. And yeah, you probably get their mouth sore, especially after you work them a couple days, their mouth will go to getting sore. But here's the thing, y'all. A mule, and this bit works good for a mule, not so much for a horse. Okay, I just want to tell you that. It works really good on a mule. And the reason why it works good on a mule, because a mule has a very high self-preservation trait that they get from the jack, from the donkey. They're going to take care of themselves, okay? So when their mouth gets sore, they're going to start backing off that bit. And you can just sit there and drive them with your fingertips. You ain't going to have to, haul them around and all that kind of mess. All right? They'll start backing off that bit, and y'all, they will heal their mouth up all on their own. All you got to do is just keep driving them. They'll get that mouth healed up, and from then on, you won't be able to get them sore ever again. They'll stay off of that bit. And whenever you go to pulling them left and right, they'll mind you. When you tell them whoa, and you pull on the lines, they'll stop. They'll mind you. Okay. With Kate and Alex the other day, their main problem was they was wanting to charge too hard taking off, and I was having to hold them hard. If I'd have had wire on my bits, I wouldn't have had to hold them near as hard, and I could have maintained a little bit better control. Now, they were fine for most applications, but logging in the woods, I like my team to bind me, and I like them to go slow and easy with a load. Starting a load, I want them to get up there and get tied in the traces, squat their hind end, and shove off on their back end and get under a load and go on with it. And you have to hold them a little to keep them from slamming that load, y'all. You don't want them slamming a load. It's rough on their shoulders. And I mean, a mule and a horse, both, they ain't got but so many slams in them, you know, before you mess them shoulders up, you know. So you'll make your horses and mules last longer, y'all, if you'll hold them and let them start that load easy. And then if they can't do it, you're gonna have to come sideways or something, get a little bit more leverage or get a block line and tackle, whatever it takes to get the load to move. But on these wire bits, that's what I do. That's how I set up a mule bit. Now to me, this is my favorite mule bit. And also on my bridles, I've got a chin strap under their jaw, and it's got a ring on it. And that chin strap serves a couple purposes. One, it keeps from pulling that bit through their mouth. If you got one that ain't bridle wise and you're trying to turn him, if you don't have that chin strap on, they can open their mouth and you'll pull that bit right through. Ask me how I know. Put that chin strap on it and you got something under their jaw down here. When you go to pulling on it, it'll pull their whole jaw around. See? And then they tend to learn to mind you a lot better. But also, y'all, you can snap your lead rope right in here. Now you got a bit in their mouth. You got more control. You can use a bridle to lead them. You don't even need a halter on them. I leave my halters on mine because I harness them here at the trailer, go work them, bring them right back to the trailer and unharness them, so I don't even fool taking them off. Now, if I was going out in public, you know, and was worried about, you know, like going to a parade or a show or something like that, I'd take them off. But not today. It's just easier to leave them on, for me. But if you did want to take them off, you can lead them with this right here. Put it right here, and you got something to lead. Another thing, y'all, is when I'm working with one line, or working them out on a bearing stick, like working 4 breast or 6 or 5 or whatever, you can snap your whole back in this ring and it pulls on both sides of their jaw. Instead of just putting it in one side of their bit ring, it pulls them to the inside. You don't want that, because when you say whoa, the two on the outside will come in. You don't want that. But if you got this chin strap on there, you snap your whole back in it. When you say whoa, it'll pull on both sides of their jaw and they'll stop straight instead of pulling in, if that makes any sense. So, just a quick recap. Why I use wire: I like a good straight bit. I don't like broke bits. That's just my opinion. You can use what you want to. This is just, if you look in every mule barn south of the Ohio River, down here where we're at, most all the old mule barns, you're gonna find a bit just like this wrapped with wire in those old bridles. Those old timers knew what worked and what didn't work, y'all. And this is not something I come up with on my own. This is something that was taught to me by Mr. Ronnie, Mr. Thomas, Mr. Bob. All these old mule heads is the one that taught me about this bit. And my buddy Eric Hicks over in Charlotte, Tennessee, is the one that taught me about flattening them on an anvil. Because if it's curved, if it's a mulling mouth bit, y'all, and you start holding pressure on them, it's gonna put pressure right here on the corners of their mouth. And you don't want to do that. You want to put even pressure all the way across. The bars in a mule's mouth is just a little bit different than bars in a horse's mouth. Now you don't want to use this bit on the horse because the horse has got a little softer mouth and they don't have that self-preservation trait like a mule has. They will tend to push that bit and push it and it'll just keep their mouth tore up. That mule right there, y'all, you might get their mouth tore up a little bit and it might get sore, but they'll learn to back off that bit. And when they learn to back off of it, it's a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing happens because they'll stay off of it and they'll get their mouth healed up. You won't never get them sore again. So I hope y'all got this on these bridles, and I hope I made it to where you can understand it and see it. And any of you that's got any questions that needs additional info, you know, on how to do this, all you got to do is email me. I'm gonna put my email up here on the screen. Holler at me. You know, if we need to, we'll talk on the phone, whatever. I'll help you as much as I can. But look, thank y'all for watching. And most importantly, y'all, I'm gonna be praying for you. Again, I need to practice, and I'm sure y'all need the prayer. I pray that everybody who watches these videos will feel the Lord's presence, because I'm praying over every one of you. I do. I mean that. I want you to feel something when you watch these videos. Every one of you means something to me. You're not just a number. I appreciate you watching, subscribing, commenting. I love to hear from you guys. I appreciate it. Y'all take care of yourself and holler at me if you need me. I'll see you next time.